Welcome everyone to Real Estate with Gwen Price, and I'm here with Trina Tallon, a mortgage specialist with Neighbourhood Dominion Lending, and we're doing our monthly market update. Hi Trina.
Hi, Gwen. Good
How are
morning.
you?
Great. How are you doing?
Good, good. Well, it's been a rainy month, and that hasn't stopped people from going out and looking for houses. That's for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Have you found things busy or things quieter down in the mortgage department or?
I found that purchases have slowed down a little bit over the last few weeks, but I find that very typical for summertime. And
Yeah.
especially now that you can get out, like we're going to a wedding tomorrow afternoon
Yeah.
that, wasn't happening. It's been put off for like a year and a half, right? So,
Oh, I know. And I do feel that too. It's almost like our typical, summer where things, when the kids would get out of school, people would go on vacation and then they would, so that's happened to some degree. I find on the weekends, everybody's taking off, right? They're going to camp or they're going, to visit relatives that they haven't been able to visit for over a year and a half. So it does sort of have that feel to it, the way things used to be.
absolutely. Yes.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but it's been really good.
Yeah. No, yeah. And there's been, a fair amount of activity. And when I look at the stats, although the average sale price really hasn't changed for the last 4 months, it's hovering just under the 390. For the end of July, it was 386. And the number of sales, so that's up about 18% from 2020. And then the number of sales is up, there's 15, just under 1,600 sales year to date, and that's up about 43% from last year. So, um, basically about 80, I think, what are we, 84% of all of the new listings are selling. So that's a pretty good indication there's still a lot of activity out there. But we might have crested for the sale price.
It's it's good to have it holding for a little bit and not escalating so much. It's giving some, with the benchmark rate going up, it's giving some people an opportunity that they may have thought that they might not have this year to actually be able to purchase a home. So that's a really good thing.
Yeah, and that things have calmed down somewhat. And the valet strike is over, which I think that gives people a bit more confidence. They might have been worried that it would be a very long strike, and even though we're not so dependent on mining, it's still a big influence on what happens here in Sudbury. That's for sure.
Well,
But
yeah, for sure. There are a lot of contractors not working, right? Because they couldn't cross the picket. So,
mhm. No, it definitely has had an effect. So, yeah, I mean, I'm feeling fairly confident. I still have I've got a long list of buyers, and it's still that price range, well, anything either side of that average sale price, right? So, the 250 to the 450, still lots of activity. There still is multiple offers, but it's about kind of half and half when I look at the hot sheets. It's like our daily sales and listing sheets, and it shows that there's still some going over list price, and I think it's on average it's about 106% at the end of July for what something is listed at for what it will sell. So that shows you there's still quite a few houses going over list price.
absolutely.
Yeah, but when I look, there's, like I say, it's about half and half, where some are going close to list or maybe slightly under, and then there are still multiple offers. And it's even some of the ones on the lake that are a million plus are getting multiple offers. So there is, even in that price range, a real attraction. And maybe it's because people, maybe they're thinking about not having the cottage and the house any longer, and they're just going to have a house on the lake, because definitely everything that comes up, on the lakes is getting lots of activity.
Absolutely. And
Yeah.
cottages have really gone up in value too, like everything else in
Yeah.
the last year and a half. So I
Yeah.
could
When I
see
look
that.
at some of the prices on Manitoulin Island, it's it's surprising to me, I guess, because I'm from Sudbury, but when people from other parts of the world are looking at it, it's a pretty nice place to go and buy waterfront property.
Absolutely. And with the Chichimon running, like when that started up again, that's
Yeah.
anyone who lives on that side of the province south, it's an easy run up the Bruce Peninsula and get on the Chichimon, right?
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Yeah, that's a nice trek to go across there. We were thinking of doing that again this summer too, but I think the whole mass situation, I don't think Rick could handle it for the length of time to go across. So we're going to go a long way around.
Yeah, exactly. So I have been seeing more and more deals come in that are offers that have financing conditions in them.
You have seen more?
Yes,
Yeah.
which has been really good, but we're still having the issue with appraisals, getting appraisers out and
Yeah.
getting them to site on time and things like that. So
yeah, like what's the average sort of turnaround time for an appraisal nowadays?
at least 10 days.
Which is tricky when, pressure, of course, on the buyer's agent is put in a very short financing period, right? They cringe at those long ones, but I mean, sometimes you've got no choice and you do have to put in a financing condition, right?
Well, and real estate's not my bag, but what I've seen is that the financing condition gets amended where the financing condition is waived and then a condition for the appraisals inserted.
Okay. Yeah.
So then the seller's confident that like the appraisal or that the financing is good and that because what I hear a lot is I'll get a call and say, well, are you having problems getting money for the clients? And it's like, no, it's just that the banks now want to see an appraisal done on the property for whatever reason they want, more than 20% down or considerably over asking or just nothing, like something is popped up in the listing or anything like that, right? So I've seen that happen where the an appraisal condition gets added but financing gets waived kind of thing. So
and we're kind of our hands are tied, right? We have to do whatever the banking institutes are requiring, and there's not much we can do. But I think you're right, from the seller's perspective, if they're just worried that somebody they want to make sure that the person buying their house has the money to do that, right?
Because absolutely, and that it's not just being tied up for the sake of being tied up. So
exactly, and we're not alone in that. When I'm following some of the colleagues down in the states, we're all in the same boat. We're all experiencing a lot of the same kind of market and the same issues with appraisals and things like that. So it's not like it's Sudbury and only Sudbury. It's not. It's pretty typical everywhere right now.
Absolutely. Yeah. So we talked very briefly about the new statutory holiday that's coming up at the end of September.
Yep.
And we'll touch on that a little bit. I've reached out to a couple of lawyers for recommendations, and they're kind of waiting to hear back from, I guess, the Law Society to know what they should do. So the Truth and Reconciliation statutory holiday, the federal government has regulated that, or said that any institutions that are regulated by the feds have to be closed that day. So that means that all the major banks are closed.
Mm-hmm.
But the Land Registry Office, as of yesterday, is still open. But the money really all changes hands on the day of closing. Right. And if September 30th is your closing date, it's going to be really, really tough to get it closed. And the problem, as you know, Gwen, with extending over September 30th and closing October 1st is that you've now fallen outside of the contract date of the offer. So
no, I'm sure there'll be lots of scrambling to amend offers. And as soon as I get off here, I'm going to be checking one of my closings too, because I'm pretty sure it's either the 30th or very close to it. If it's very close to it, that's great. But if it isn't, I'm going to be amending it, because you're right. Yeah, I mean, you know, people start to make plans for, okay, they're moving trucks, everything. There's a lot of things involved in a closing date. So yeah, I will be checking that out. But yeah, I knew about the stat holiday, but never even thought about the closing date. So we'll be all scrambling for that one, but
Yes,
it'll work out. It always does.
absolutely. That's true.
Yeah. Well, I mean, things are, I think I'm, like I said, I'm feeling pretty confident about Sudbury. You know, to some degree, it's eased up a bit for my buyers, but I know there's still a lot of my buyers are, they just can't compete in when you're in a multiple offer situation. So, you know, to have a little bit more balance in the market would be nice, but right now it's still very much in favor of the sellers, and we have, like, as soon as something's listed, there's a whole bunch of people looking at it. So it's still a good time to be selling, and it is a good time to be buying because interest rates are still pretty low.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, it's very good.
Well, and again, we just have to, you know, remind people, please get pre-approved before you go out shopping for a house, because that's very important. And the paperwork has to be in place for people. The banks require lots of evidence of your income and things like that. So don't delay in getting your paperwork to your mortgage specialist.
That's right. And if you have gotten your pre-approval prior to June 1st, but are still shopping, make sure you get reapproved because of that change in the benchmark rate.
Yeah. Well, and that's why I send people to mortgage specialists like you, Trina, because I can't keep up with the changes. You know, we think it's one way, and then, you know, the government decides on something else. So we got to send it to the people that have the finger on the pulse of the mortgages.
That's right. Awesome.
Thanks a lot, Trina, and we'll talk to you
Thank you,
soon.
Gwen.
Take
Have
care.
a great weekend. It's supposed to be beautiful out.
Yes, enjoy the rest of this nice weather.
I will. I have to find a dress to wear at the wedding tomorrow.
Oh, you better get out there and look.
I know.
Anyway, have fun. Take care.
Thanks. Take care.
Bye.